Hi there, and welcome to this short video about the latest insights from the Foundation. My name is Laura.
And my name's Cindy. And we want to talk to you about why involving your supply chain teams in the circular economy transition is one of the best things that you can do.
That's right. And I have to admit, Cindy, when I started working on this project, I knew very little about supply chains. And now I'm convinced that supply chain leaders are like key actors to make sure that the circular economy transition happens. So first, Cindy, let's spill the beans on what went down in 2023.
Sure. So we conducted a number of interviews and held some working group sessions with a number of supply chain professionals to understand what would the circular economy mean for these teams. We've now synthesized all the learnings from that research into a white paper, which outlines the role of supply chain professionals in the transition and also talks about the opportunities and challenges they might face in transitioning to circular supply chains.
So I think still some supply chain professionals might see the circular economy as something that their sustainability teams should care about and maybe not something that matters a lot to them yet. So why should supply chain professionals and leaders care about the circular economy?
It's a good question. So I do think that that division still exists a lot, but there are a number of reasons why the circular economy is actually quite relevant for supply chain people. So one is that we've seen that in the recent geopolitical shocks and the economic instability, we've really noticed the vulnerabilities of our traditional linear supply chains and also the economic ramifications of that. And at the same time, supply chain leaders are really being faced with a lot of internal pressure from business to actually deliver low cost while also addressing a lot of environmental challenges. So for a typical consumer goods company, for example, about 80% of their greenhouse gas emissions come from their supply chains. So that puts those teams under a lot of pressure to deliver to change that. And this is where the circular economy can come in, really, because by decoupling your operations from the consumption of natural resources, as you do when you shift to circular supply chains, you're actually able to minimize your exposure to price volatility. You can increase your material security while also helping address those environmental concerns.
Okay, so if I am a supply chain professional watching this video, okay, now I get why I guess I should care about this. But what can I do? What if I'm convinced and now I want to focus on what can I do to actually accelerate the transition?
Yeah, so supply chain professionals can play this critical role because they have responsibility of the sourcing, the movement, and also the transformation of the 100 billion tons of materials that enter our global economies every year.
That's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So they have a lot of responsibility of how material flows. And at the same time, they also, because of their position, have a lot of influence over the wider system. So through engaging with other network partners like customers, suppliers, they can play a kind of catalyzing role of the circular economy in terms of its adoption and also its scale, not only in their own business, but also across other organizations.
So they really have, I guess, the power to intervene in that system in which their organization kind of sits. Okay, so now I guess my next question is like, what on earth is a circular supply chain?
So circular supply chains are ones that redefine some core elements of traditional supply chains. So we're thinking about networks, flows, and goals. In circular supply chains, networks are distributed and interconnected, which allows us to leverage both local and global partnerships with suppliers, customers, and industry peers. In terms of flows, those of goods, money, and information become multi-directional, which allows us to share a lot more data pertaining to material composition or the location of materials with other network partners. And in terms of the goals, the goal of circular supply chains is to deliver value from circular inputs. So these are secondary materials or regeneratively grown materials, but also to capture that value through circular processes like repair or remanufacture, which altogether can help us keep products and materials in use for as long as possible at their highest value possible.
Nice. So, Cindy, what if people are hungry for more and they want to see some real life examples?
Yeah, if you want to learn more, I'd encourage you to check out our website, download our white paper, or have a look at our fact sheet for a more bite-sized version of the content.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Cindy, for breaking it all down for all of us. And thank you for watching this video. And if you want to find out more, or if you want to dive more into this topic, stay tuned, because we are cooking up some webinars and workshops in 2024. So keep the conversation alive.